Hey guys, Salvi here, just reminding you to, of course, like, subscribe, and follow, and all that kind of good stuff that YouTube asks if you enjoy what video I'm going to put out for you today. Thank you. We have a Google Doc that has just come out from Radia about Adora Bunny and the things that they have done. Of course, before we start about everything here, I do want to put out there into your heads right now that I won't be able to cover it in its entirety. I will be giving you summaries, and of course, in no matter what, since I'm not the one that has been victimized by this whole thing, is a victim in this, I cannot portray the actual sadness that is going on here. I empathize with everything. I will cover as much as I can, but in no way, shape, or form can I fully cover every single bit of pain that has gone through here, because that would take 2 hours. The way that I want to do it, it would take 2 hours, and that would be too long for anyone to actually read. So let's go over it as much as I can with as much respect as possible, of course. So as I mentioned, Radia is a indie VTuber who, people in my community already know about because I've rated them several times, and Adora Bunny, the same thing. They were very, very close friends. I mean, very close friends. They would always stream, not always, but they would stream consistently together. They, basically, travel, like, met each other, travel together, that type of thing occasionally, and, cons, things like that. So they were really close friends, both on and off streaming, off platform. So this hit hard. When anything like this hits, it's like, holy crap, someone that you thought was, kind and everything may not have been so kind. So here is one thing that popped up here for me. This is where they start off with Adora Bunny. It says, if you need proof of how it makes no sense, just look at her LinkedIn yourself. You'll see VTuber stuff quietly hidden into it as of recently as last year. I don't even know what her IRL name is, so I can't even look. Well, do you promise not to leak it? So she adds LOL at the end to try to make it, seem cutesy and not actually doxing somebody, as it would end up being. If someone trusts you with their actual name, address, etc., you do not, under any way, shape, or form, unless it's like, to protect them in a sense of police type of thing, police activity, the police needing to know where they are for their protection, that type of thing, then sometimes legally you are allowed to do that. But under this situation, heck no, they're not allowed to do that. So let's go over, again, like I said, it is a lot of stuff going on here. And of course, the accusations here. Casually doxing Radia's name, background, and personal information to multiple uninvolved parties in pursuit of her slander campaign. And the bookmark is down here. For this one, it says, if you need proof of how it makes sense, that thing right there, Radia at no point consented to the sharing of her IRL information or socials to others, especially to those outside the situation, entirely. So back up here, we're going to take a look at, the other things here. And, of course, authored the creation of a list of grievances, which could be referred to as a cancel doc, which was both over-exaggerated and completely imagined falsified, which he forwarded to outside parties as truth, after doctoring them to remove anything related to herself. She arranged for an intervention under false pretenses, which was poorly disguised to cover and ambush Radia in a format she could not escape from, and designed to maximize humiliation and mental anguish. This is really bad. I mean, it already starts off really bad. Demanding Radia take a forced break from streaming for intentionally vague amount of time under a threat of being thrown out of Project STEM. Project STEM is a group that they had together, that they were, working on many projects with, merch, all that other kind of stuff, and to be threatened to be thrown out of your group because you do not take a break. That is not what you do. That is not what friends do. You do not hang friendship over somebody in order to get them into compliance. This is abusive. This is manipulative. This is just very bad. It's just like, this is not a good relationship. This is not a good friendship. I will say, I do not think June 1st is long enough break, generally to make a break situation in our friendship. That is really mean. Holy crap. And I do, Ray, which is, radiaactive, and I do generally love you, but I'm hurt and I don't feel like I can fully trust you anymore, and it needs to be rebuilt. And I want to rebuild it with you so badly because of all the good times. That's manipulative. That's, oh my God. And all the good times you had together, you need to recenter and change your approach and connection with streaming. This is absolutely never what should be done to a friend. I want to see you become better. This stuff so I can trust you again. And it said the screenshot has been altered to remove personal information of Adora's and reference to an uninvolved third party. I love you too, and it's not being. I've not been doing amazing since, and this was, of course, on the 27th of May of this year, of 2025. Since blank, honestly, there was a lot of decade-long purpose lost and fear gained afterwards. I'm guessing this was a relationship lost or a friendship lost for decades, and that is always a painful situation, which is why she wanted her to take a break, but you went about it the wrong way. Well, I can take the entire month off work. I can't take the entire month off work. It's infeasible regardless of how much OT I have, unless I do disability leave, which I reserve for yearly surgeries. She does have a lot of surgeries. She does have, of course, a physical situation, a physical health situation she has to deal with. My overall schedule is light. I'm going to keep what I have scheduled because it at least is scheduled social time and breaks up my week. But I'm not going to be overbooking myself or present 5+ days a week stream on my own or others for a long time. And it continues here. Basically telling her she needs to detach. She's saying it out of love and concern, but she's doing it in the most manipulative way possible. I'll give you more time to process. I'm going to be firm on this. I don't trust you right now. That is just, oh my God. This is just, you read this. And this is what I'm going to be focusing on. This is what led Radia to react in the way that she did, I think, eventually. And it was, yes, you do want a friend to, as mentioned here, like she wants to be in a better place, not have burnout, etc. But she's saying, if you come back soon, you are going to lose my friendship. And their friendship was very valuable to her. The friendship between Adora and Radia. This is just touching the tip of the iceberg of all the stuff that she's done. But holy moly. I hate saying that, but I never lied to you once, but I know that you're doing is lying to me, and it hurts. Accusing them of lying without any proof is also painful. I want this to work. You're like family to me. You are family to me, but family doesn't manipulate people, doesn't send abusive type of messages like this. This is wrong. This is a manipulation tactic. This is a dangling friendship over their heads in order to get compliance. This is not how you do this. This is not how friends do this. This is not how quote-unquote family does this. At least not good family. You usually get away from family like this. Understood? I'll leave you your evening and let you prepare for tomorrow. This is meant to sound snide, but it comes off as blunt. But I do mean to have a decent evening. I won't necessarily be around as I'll be giving you distance, but I'll be in DMs if needed. This isn't something I feel I even have the fundamental ability to fix at the moment. This isn't me telling you we won't talk, because it's part of the process. You are my friend, of course. They continue here. I think you generally need a full social cleanse right now and detox on May 28th. No Discord, not even your community. Telling her to basically, in my opinion, this is distancing her from friends, distancing her from people who could support her, and making it so that she is the only one that she can come to eventually. And basically telling you, if you want to be friends with me, you will distance yourself from everybody. You will leave everybody in order to quote unquote heal and be better in the future. This is not good. This is not a healthy friendship. And I'm glad that Radia and others are calling this out, because this is not a healthy relationship, not a healthy friendship, not a healthy individual doing this kind of stuff. Just want my old friend back that unprompted nothing gave support and money when I was sick. Not the one worrying about numbers and money from stream. I just don't see a place for me right now in anything, let alone my presence making anything better now or in the future. I don't have any faith in my ability to do so anymore. I don't want people in person or near me at the moment, of course, because it was a big hit that happened to her. The relationship lost, the actual decade-long relationship, whether it be with a partner or friend or whatever. That is a painful situation, especially with a partner. It's a painful situation. And then, of course, figure out I'd remind, but also you can focus on stuff just for the sake of our friendship. Don't have you down for any collabs in June, and won't be coming on as well until July at the earliest, so you can feel obligated to stream because of me. Just thinking of leaving, don't have it in me. Like, when people say this, you're supposed to support them. You're supposed to be like, look, I know this is tough. Talk to me. We can talk through this. What is going on in your life? What are you feeling? What is going on? I don't want you to isolate yourself. I don't want you to be in this bad position. Instead of saying that, it's like disconnect, leave everything, or our friendship is done. I don't trust you anymore. Our friendship will be done because I don't trust you anymore. This is the crux of the situation here. This is very manipulative. Holy moly. This I don't know how to believe in. Certainly not a good person. Never been under the impression that I am in any way particularly a good person. For all people, big thing for me was realizing I need to be a person who does good things. Will help me a lot in work myself. Radia does a lot of good things, honestly. So I don't know where this is coming from. You've done bad things, but it doesn't mean you're a bad person. I've done bad things too. But the more and more good things we do, the better we'll be. At least this one is a positive note. Didn't think it was a good thing. It just felt normal to do. Even things supposedly good by definition get hurt and punished for at times. I've ever felt good done to speak. And then it continues on here. I don't know what any of you want. I haven't done anything but my day job, sleep, schedule therapy, and sit on thoughts because I fear on doing anything else. I don't know what is good enough punishment to atone. How much should I give up to be worthy? It's ambiguous and unattainable in my mind. The reason why she went in this path is because of what Adora was doing before. Honestly, I'll call it out. You don't do this to a friend. You don't dangle friendship over somebody like this. You don't do that. It's about getting better. Of course, you want someone to get better. Want someone to fight the brain rot, as she's saying through this whole thing. She wants her to take accountability for things that are done when she's done it, of course. But there's a time and a place to say these things. Yes, it may be good. Like, you may be like, oh, she needs to hear it, etc. But this is not the time or the place. It's not the time or the place. Holy moly. All this stuff here. Not supposed to be around for I don't know how long. How am I even supposed to stick to a schedule of days when I'm not even allowed back regardless of what I'm doing anything with you all or not? So yeah, this was basically, she was feeling isolated finally, which is what Adora seemed to have wanted, in my opinion. And she was feeling that she had nothing. Because streaming is a lot for us, people who stream, people who connect with our community. It is a lot for us. And for her as well. How do you even want me to prove myself in isolation? Really? I don't feel like I'm allowed to do anything. For it will mean I'm not sorry enough or trying hard enough, or if I dare to do anything online. There isn't a way to prove anything I'm proving. I'm not supposed to exist in any capacity around the space. It's not as if you all exist around me physically. I'm tired. I've had to take a lot within a short period of time and months. It's not been managed the best, obviously, and it's resulted in constantly feeling illogical emotions or omnipresent fear of losing everything I ever worked for. I don't have it in me to live like I used to, where everything was uncertain, even food. All I've done is work so I can have every day not be fear and be able to do rest and stuff like that. Maintain my boundary of the last message. Just left it there so I would not forget. Otherwise, I would unfortunately forget entirely. So this is like, you can read more and more and more. 4 days after initial call with Adora, Radia was admitted to the hospital. Stress of dealing with the situation began to cause severe complications with her already rapidly decaying health. She has mentioned this before. She is not the healthiest person. It is not her fault. It is a chronic condition that she has. I'm not going to mention what it is, but it is something that she has mentioned publicly before. And she just things because of the stress that Adora was causing on this whole thing, preventing her from being a part of Project Stim, or trying to take her out of it, or trying to force her, manipulate her into being, into compliance, like I said, into not being around, into isolating herself. You do not want people to isolate when they are in this situation. What you do, what I have done, and what others have taught me to do, because I'm not the best at this, I'm autistic, so I have bad social cues and all that kind of shit. People have shown me to do is be there for them. Just talk to them. Just listen. Just play games with them. Do things like that. Do not allow them to isolate themselves. That leads to attempts at Minecrafting themselves and things like that, which is something that happened here. And of course, we're just gonna, it just keeps going. Thing here, digital vagrant. I'm calling Uber. Pain in my upper back won't go away. She has, like I said, chronic issues with her health. And of course, this person is digital vagrant, is very sweet with them, very kind with them, and also tries to get everything here. Course of control includes strict and restrictive routines, extreme, unfounded jealousy, accusations and threats, psychophysical, blank, or financial abuse, all combinations of these, gaslighting, isolations. Says you make me feel bad, no one can trust you, you're hurting us, you make me have to be mean. See, those things, like I said, those are all manipulative things. Post-intervention escalation. This is document has been altered. Adora had edited it significantly to remove almost every point which mentioned herself before sending it, without knowledge of anyone else involved. Full version of the list minus redactions, personal information can be found below. To summarize, this list turned out to be full, extremely minor cites, highly inaccurate, outright false assumptions regarding Radia's personal details. Below is a list of her main points, along with analysis of the framing that was used in this document. Saturday night streaming. Main issue 1, main issue 2, general lack of gratitude. Main issue 3, copying of content. So she claims that Radia copied the content of those around her. It's different between copying and taking inspiration. If you see someone do something amazing and you're like, whoa, I want to do the same thing. You do it with your own spin. That's not copying. If you do it exactly as they do, that's a little bit different. For example, there are ASMR relays is every single ASMR relay after the first ASMR relay, are those copying everyone else? Is that a direct copy? You know, when people do the big VTuber concerts, like the type of that Nana Banana has, if someone else does it, is that directly copying her? No, it's taking an idea and being like, whoa, I want to do this too, but with my own spin. That is the way ideas work. That is the way creativity works. It is not copying in that sense. And that is problematic. And like I'm saying, I'm just going to go over the rest of the stuff because I'm already going way longer than I usually wanted to. But we'll go over the rest of the stuff here. Use incredibly flimsy justifications to prove Radia wasn't sorry as justification to force Radia out of Project Stim, as we saw down there. Engage in deceptive and manipulative language to place all the blame for invented wrongdoing solely on Radia, while engaging in deliberate deception that she was doing this out of concern for Radia's well-being. You do not go and attack your friend if you are concerned about them. You do not go and make it more public the issues that you have with them if you're trying to help them. You are being vindictive, angry, trying to knock her down with the excuse that you're trying to help her. This is not gonna fly. Engage in a sustained campaign of slander across content sphere to countless content creators, both mutual friends and unknown number of uninvolved parties, attempting to paint Radia as manipulative, greedy, content-rotted, and compulsive liar that falsifies her entire history for malicious ends. Attempted and succeeded in isolating Radia from her entire social sphere and support network for the sake of making her learn a lesson, so for perceived threats, sites, and imaginary wrongdoings. Accused Radia of falsifying her medical history. Accused her of falsifying her education and career for personal gain. Accused her of money hoarding. Digging into Radia's personal background through all available public resources and using it to build a false narrative of Radia's dishonesty. Attempted sabotage of Radia's romantic relationships as part of a slander campaign. Attempted to provide her partner with heavily editorialized and abusive account of events when Radia was unable to speak up for her own defense. Twisting her version of what transpired based on who she was speaking to, based on what she believed would be most sympathetically received, ensuring no person ever received the same story as another. Active denial of these actions and attempting to play the victim when third parties began to investigate outside of her ability to control them. So this person seems, at least what this person is saying here, a deep manipulator and someone that was willing to hurt a friend to get, I don't know what perceived benefit they would get, but threatening and hurting a friend for whatever reasons. Radia's injuries. Immense psychological anguish and agony because the social network was forcibly ripped away from her. Reduced to tears and begging apologies for things she did not do in an attempt to keep friendship she valued and placate someone she believed was her best friend. Needed to be hospitalized for 4 days due to heart problems. Extreme stress due to attempts to be private and professional about the matter due to not wanting to bother others. Personal identifying information leaked outside. She was doxxed. Uninvolved parties by someone she previously trusted espoused as a sister. So that was Adora who did that. Suffered isolation from friends and loved ones due to slander or rumor mongering. Considered on multiple occasions leaving content entirely to appease Adora and defuse the situation. Delaying her ability to re-enter education plans due to a situation resulting in an irreversible loss of significant amounts of financial aid. Loss of her roommate, who Radia considers to be family. So that was the person that she lost. That person that had been around for a long time. It was a roommate. It wasn't a lover or anything like that. A partner. It was a roommate. Sudden drop in her mental health and sharp drop in her income left her unable to support her college plans. She wanted to go to school to educate herself to be able to improve and go higher level in her employment. Severe decline in income due to a combination of slander campaign and the sharp decline in her mental health inhibiting her ability to stream. Ongoing fear and trauma from believing nobody would believe her if she told her side of the story. Harassment of people who even spoke to her at a convention, leading to further isolation. So even fans were being harassed here. This is really BS. I freaking hate this. This is horrible. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm talking about this. This is why I'm spending so long on this. It shouldn't be this way. Nearly successful blank attempt due to extreme isolation and genuine belief that there was no other way out. And of course, the reasons for putting out the document are to make sure that this doesn't continue to happen, to make sure that this gets resolved properly, and to make sure that Radia understands that she did nothing wrong. Any perceived slight should have been handled in a way better way without manipulation in any way. Once you try to use manipulation, you've lost the plot. You've lost any kind of semblance of a higher ground that you thought you had. This is despicable what Adora did, in my opinion, of course. I hate it when people do this, and I'm glad that this document came out, because this was Adora manipulating Radia, Radia doing everything in her power, in private first, before any of this came out, everything in her power privately to try to resolve the situation, and nothing helped. Nothing happened. And that is when you're just like, you know what? I have to say something. I tried every single avenue to get this fixed. Everything. I ended up in the hospital, and talking about that as if it were Radia. Radia ended up in the hospital. Radia ended up losing friends. Radia ended up in a very bad psychological situation, made an actual attempt on her own life because of this. After all of that, yeah, this is one of those times where it's justified to bring out a Google document, because you cannot let this type of person manipulate someone else in the future, victimize someone else in the future. We continue on with more things that Adora has done, more people that Adora has hurt. In this case, it is Slivy, the masked himbo Vtuber editor. He is well known inside of the Vtuber sphere, the Vtuber world, and he comes out with something there. Finally, I can open up about my experiences with Adora. I'll begin with the TLDR. We'll talk about the TLDR because I don't want to make it too long, because the video is already going to be like 30 minutes plus. So I'll begin with the TLDR. Worked with Adora as her editor for about 2 to 3 months. In that time, she attempted to turn me against my friends, exploited my friendship with her to get free work that she still hasn't paid for, and attempted to ruin my career. And they don't just say it out of nowhere. They have proof here. She wanted to hire me as her clips editor because she, in her own words, hated doing short form editing and found it boring. She also needed a more stable income first, which I thought was fine. She also would be constantly mentioning her desire to hire me and run her stuff. And here is, some stuff about hiring her eventually. During CCV, stabler income first. No, I'm joking. Things like that. And of course, unironically, Slivy, I'll let you just run my shorts algorithm, and I'll do the long form stuff. And also, if you hate editing shorts, it's basically giving the whole thing here. I'm at a moment of importance in my YouTube channel, something I want to work on. So yeah, continuing this, trusted them both because Adora had a tendency to flex on her own connections and abilities, often flexing herself as higher tier streamer, and because she was someone I had known since 2021, I didn't doubt her words. So continuing on with some stuff here. Her basically glazing him in the sense of trying to make him, become a part of her group. Eventually, salary again if someone really does well, since he has my day job. She has a day job. Yes, Erin is just setting up for a pool of creators. Erin, I guess, is the manager, the person that was going to be in charge of everything. And moving on, she was actually leak info, images, videos of other people's models in DMs. When Siege, her friend at the time, was doing a model for Vexoria, she came into my DMs to start S-ing on it because she knew I and Siege didn't like each other. So there we go. Vexoria getting Siege models since they don't do well. A whole Sinder thing. It's basically a whole Sinder thing all over again. Regards about purchase Siege models are overpriced and under-delivered. Glad Vex isn't hiring my model artist because my model artist is being so exclusive is part of what helps me right now. Continuing on. She would often spread rumors about other streamers, accusing them of saying our things, view botting, just general negativity. She would bring up other people's stats and compare about how bad or better they were. And again, comes in with the proof. Some random male VTuber got an audience very quickly off TikTok on Twitch. Mostly kids, has basically ruined the chat box experience for me. Constantly spamming long cheer emotes, LMAO. Phoenix VT. S-talking Phoenix VT. Phoenix and Nieko, again, continuing to S-talk people, as you can see here. Talking about how awful their chat is. Other bad streamers here. Danny Dawnstar, talking bad about Danny Dawnstar. Who knows? Phoenix wants to partner anyways. Clout in the cloud, I guess, basically chasing people. Mentioning other bad people there. Luma, Sully Gnome, Rochiato, long-term Twitch stats, Sully Gnome. Yagi is generally a bad experience on anyone that gets near him. Bro, they're using private channel and friends Discord to hide from people. So, I mean, worse than Sinder, in my opinion. A lot, just as bad as Sinder in this case, I guess. Partners just the beginning, basically. All these other things. Eventually, the pressure started. I'd still clip for stuff on the streams. Eventually, start editing. Once we had our agreement, she would usually start buttering me up with compliments. Again, buttering them up to try to get them to do things for them. And this is all on Sylvie Sparks' thing, which is why I'm going over them kind of quickly. Spreading rumors about folks again. Things of a bad person. Radia, Marina, Riri, Lalia, and Reizen are the only folks that know this person that my hatred of them. So basically, a more hatred of bad people. This Scotty Calcote, spreading just hatred about him. Dr. Crafty, Mavis, all these other people here. Video part had done an edit for Adora, and as their channel manager, I came up with a description format tags. Basically, did what I could to overhaul things. So they did a lot of work here, as they're showing evidence of. More support Adora while she was in a rough mental state. Editing pressured me into doing the edit, possibly to cheer her up. So trying to get them to do stuff for free, it seems like, or at least stuff as quickly as they could to get things scheduled and stuff like that, while, as far as I know, still not paying for everything, at least. She sent videos, edited to schedule, write descriptions, and tag, manage, while doing what she would do to actively talk down to my client. Yeah, basically, one of those things. Editing did a lot of these negative things here. And of course, this is bad. This sucks. This is kind of what we hate, what people started disliking Sinder for. People don't like that in the VTuber community. So Adora is one of those people as well, according to all the things we're seeing here. And I'm not going to get into every single individual one, but there are so many people that are coming out against Adora right now, mentioning their stuff and the pain that she has caused them. It hurts when your best friend goes for your career after hurting you as well. You mean like you did to me? Seeing Radia's document makes my stomach turn. I sat silently and dealt with a multi-year smear campaign behind the scenes from Adora, who was my former best friend. While I prefer to wait and see the other side, I do think appalling that Adora doxed Radia. I also feel sad that she's situation pushed Radia to reveal much of her medical history. Not a graduation post. My name is in a couple of screenshots included in Radia's doc. It's a Konotomo. Within Adora's message, I wanted to give you a context regarding these messages. Please read. TLDR, Radia and I are on great terms, and it's been awful seeing her in such bad shape. So basically, name appears twice for the same reason, including in an alleged Cliff Notes document that Adora appears to have sent to Digi towards the end of May this year. Have apologized to Radia for violating her trust. Conversation where I told Adora this happened last year, many months prior to Adora telling Digi. So some things were said, of course, that was bad of them, but they apologized to Radia. Her and Radia are in good terms. Biggles V artist as well. So many feelings, so much that Adora put me through that she can never take back. I believe people hated me, that I was the fella's problem. You broke me. I stand with Radia. I'm also a victim of Adora Bunny. Please support Radia and other victims. Hira. For larger DM, create a DMD for a game collab. Like, this is what Adora made them feel. Adora would DM me. That was me. Saying that they were the reason why they were getting DMs. They were the reason why they were getting more popular. They were the reason why those things were happening. Letting me know I was nothing and couldn't do anything for myself. Adora was warned time and time again that her behavior was unacceptable by people who truly cared for her. People excused her behavior for so long for fear of retaliation, because Adora's pretty big. The numbers game does win, and it's extremely scary to all of us small fries. I spent quite a few nights on VC with my closest friends crying because of her. I'm sorry for all those who have been hurt. Continuing. I never really knew what to say when it first happened, but when I debuted, Adora messages my wife out of nowhere to let her know she knew we were together when she had never spoken to her before. We didn't know what to think, and in fear of being doxxed, I remained polite. Throwback to when I was besties with Adora, just as she became a VTuber, helped her grow TikTok, we did a few collabs here and there, and then when I was no longer useful, she threw me out like trash. And it goes again and again, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more. It is insane that all of this is happening, and that she has been shown to be such a horrible individual by people outside of Radia. And it says basically everyone has had some kind of, the big VTubers have all had some kind of bad experience with her, and it does suck to see this. Welcome back, everybody, to the VTuber Showcase, the place where I like to showcase up-and-coming VTubers of various sizes, shapes, types, everything in between. Today we're talking about Cuthluwu, Lovecraft. I do this because I want it to be a positive space among all the negativity that does happen in this space here. Today we're talking about them, and we are going to be going over to their Twitch side, which has Lovecraftians, Cultist Abomination, and it is, of course, you know, some things here. And let's take a look at something that they've done. Oh dear lordy, old man Lulu. and let's take a look at their YouTube here, which looks like these are kind of like short stories, horror stories, like reading of them. You know, the Telltale Heart, other pieces like that. So if that is something that you want to look at, take a look at their YouTube here. Thank you so much for allowing me to showcase you on my channel. I do hope this helps you in some way. Thank you guys for watching as always, and of course take a look, and if you enjoy everything, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all those things that YouTube asks of you. Really do appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.